続けてくれ、ルテナント。
Why, hello, Mech fans, and hey, Punkwaddle. so glad of you to jump in there. How are we doing, my friend?
Pretty good. How are you?
I gotta get back to like finding some clips to throw in for the intro because there's a lot of silliness out there, and I kind of miss doing it all.
Yeah, I like the silliness too.
Especially when I start like delving the depths of all the weird tokusatsu stuff out there, and we find all the craziness out there, and you're like, what the hell am I watching? Before you know. You're like,
yeah, it's a lot.
But how does the nutshell work? Don't worry about it. It just does. You know, it operates on tune logic because it's funny.
Yeah, and there's lots of nuts and bolts everywhere in a machine.
Oh, even better. This car has so many nuts to the mile. But with that said, what at all, welcome and thank you for coming on by. Happy happy belated Easter. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I, of course, my Ironcaster here to help cut the off of the start of the week.
Oh.
Have some fun as we talk about some big robots and some all this silly, nerd stuff out here that we do so love so much.
We do.
Of course, the good sheriff of the
get to eat some lamb roast for Easter. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
It was kind of a quiet night, quiet Thanksgiving or Easter here. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, well,
like I said, quiet Easter here. Just kind of stayed in, and we had a little small dinner, but everything said and done, all pretty good.
Yeah.
Got a chance to get out, go see the new Mario movie. Sat down, started to really kind of revisit through some of the classics this weekend.
Okay.
Let's see. So I know you didn't get a chance to see it yet, Punkwaddle, but I will be real brief with sort of my thoughts on that, if you don't mind.
No. Like I remember the last one, the previous one that everybody got really, really excited about, and I heard a lot of spoilers. But it's Mario, so it's like, is it anything terribly new? I mean, or is it a fun adaptation of things that we love, right? If it's a fun adaptation of things we love, I'm still going to watch it and see how it plays out, right? Eventually.
Well, I will start by saying that it was absolutely the number one movie of the weekend, and especially because it had 5 days.
Yeah.
And here, as we kind of just pull up some numbers for you, this thing by now has gotten almost $400 million at this point.
Okay, and that's just in 5 days.
Yeah, like we haven't had a full week yet, and here it is. Just
right.
At this point, it is the top movie of the year.
Well, yeah, I mean the thing is, when the other Mario came out, the cinemas and what we'd gotten in theaters was pretty sad. And to be fair, in the last 2 or 3 years, we haven't got a lot.
No, I mean there's been the odd hit here or there, but we never have fully recovered from the COVID era.
And so I'm not surprised that this one is highly anticipated because of how good the first one did in theaters, but then it just kept doing well, and people who didn't see it immediately, it did well, I think, in sales later and streaming, and, it got a lot of attention. So even more so family friendly. Easter's a family friendly weekend. You're getting together as family. It's really, I mean, I'm sure all the people on the other YouTube channels that I stopped watching because, I mean, it's not that they're not my friends, but like I'm sure they've all said it ad nauseum at this point. But like, this is a prime time, and yeah, it's gonna do well.
The thing is, at the end of the day, a lot of these channels, for all the love I have for many of these guys out there, of course, for our nerd products, our geeks and gamers, our
Culture Casino Daddy,
Culture Casino, Comics Division, all these, all these kind of big dog, if you will, type YouTubers, compared to us down here with our easily hundreds of subscribers.
Right.
Which I say with the utmost love to the people who come by and give us a chance. At the end of the day, it's a lot of the same kind of stances on these movies. They tend to come from sort of the same sort of side of the aisle of the culture war.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, just to kind of give my thoughts on it, the plot is it's a pretty thin plot, but it's there just to jingle the keys and go, guys, it's a Mario movie. If you wanna like point at the camera, and go, oh, that's that character. I love that character. With Nintendo, you're gonna have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun with it. I'm certainly not immune to that myself. I probably wouldn't go see it again.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there you go. That's like that is as light as we'll go with it.
Okay.
But, I know I gotta start firing up the sock puppet accounts at this point.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of if I do one a day, I should be able to get it by Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. Oh wait. Breakfast brunch. That's a pretty common thing there for Easter. And of course, real quick, let me say hello real quick to a couple of guys in the chat here who have been so kind as to jump on by. Mr. Dave sees the first one in. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for coming by as always. And Vince Womack. Oh, yeah. There he is. Vince Womack for dropping those links, buddy, sir. Thank you so much. I know you were up late, and I appreciate you for it. Just kind of be sure to look out for yourself as well. But yes, so Punkwaddle, one of the core cruxes of the stuff I've been kind of nerding out about for the last couple of years, as this whole culture war has raged on, and we've lost so many of our franchises. Others have stepped up to take that plate for us, and with that said, we did get a bit of good news out of the Kamen Rider field. Because if I can pull my video up, my link up, we did get some Kamen Rider news because out of like at this point 35, 40 series that have been around, the problem is so many of them are kind of language barriered, and the international distribution rates just have not been there to cover this.
Right. Yeah, which is a big deterrent, right?
At this point, it's really ultimately a matter of time before more of them start to get out there, as Kamen Rider gets more of an international name to itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's a franchise ultimately that has so many past entries that could get a new audience internationally.
Yeah,
which is what makes it a little bit of surprising news to find out that one of those is getting brought over. Kamen Rider Agito and Kabuto. I'm sorry, actually 2 series.
Yeah,
are going to be getting distributed via YouTube.
Awesome.
Actually, the thing is, I actually just finished watching Agito, which is a fun series. I do recommend that one, and I haven't had a chance to start Kabuto yet, but I can't wait to, because it has some insane time stop nonsense abilities. I cannot wait to actually see in context. And also, is turning 55 this year.
So, with that being said, okay. In the news that Super Sentai just hit 50 and stopped, are we saying that Kamen Rider is actually older than Super Sentai proper? Either way, it's significant.
It is. And I'd have to kind of look it up, but I think Super Sentai might actually be older. The but the Oh wait, no, actually I think you're right. I think Kamen Rider might be older because I think it started in 71.
So, and I know, and we don't have 55 seasons of Kamen Rider though, right?
Right. Uh, basically, basically what happened was for the longest time they would do a couple seasons here. They would do a season here or there, and every couple years they would bring one out.
Okay.
And then right at about the year, and then there was a big hiatus for about a good 10, 15 years without much of anything being produced.
Okay.
Then in the year 2000, they brought it back.
So this sounds a whole lot like the Asian version of Doctor Who, in a parallel sort of cultural beloved show that took kind of a dip, and then around the year 2000 was like, we need to bring it back.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like how shows like Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Super Sentai, Metal Heroes. A lot of these were effectively your Japanese superheroes that were trying to do their own thing when they looked over at what the Americans were doing.
And I just want to give a caveat to that because Kamen Rider is still going strong. It hasn't changed hand. Davies hasn't come back to try and quote gay it up, or Disney hasn't just ruined it. So I just want to give mad props that Japan is still very much to honor their creators in the whole thing of a lot of the stuff they're doing lately to protect their own creative minds and art. It just goes to show that they've been very honoring these traditions and allowing them to continue. And I have a lot of respect for that. So, but also it's really cool that we're getting more Kamen Rider.
And what kind of works, what I feel like is really working is they have a couple of creatives involved that have been making some of these more recent, better series. But but anyway, to kind of finish what I was trying to say, so around the year 2000, they brought it back with a new series, Kamen Rider Kuga, which ran for about 50 episodes or so, which was, I believe, basically being done to sort of copy what Super Sentai had been doing all along, which was effectively a season every year. And I did look it up, by the way. Kamen Rider started in 71, and Super Sentai started in 75.
Okay.
So there's kind of a little, so it's easy to see where we have the kind of the comparison there. But effectively, what happened is after the show runs for its 50 episodes, and then like we come back next week with a brand new series, a brand new hero, and it's a brand new story to tell. And ever since 2000, this has been the formula for Kamen Rider, which was picking up on what Super Sentai had been doing for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, there is, if we just use the Heisei, relaunch in the 2000s, that's still 26 series alone that you can pick up. Each with 50 episodes. And you want to get something with a lot of material to it. Why there's all these 50 episode shows out here that you could just pick up, and you just do just the minimal amount of advertising to them. You throw that up on Netflix with just some basic subtitles as is. Boom, that's 25 hours of content from just that one show alone that is going to have a dedicated audience that will go watch it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, like, sometimes it's more fun to just binge an old show and then watch a few episodes, and all of a sudden, especially if they're 20 to 30-minute episodes, right? With commercials and all that. It's harder to convince yourself because, if it was on network, a 30-minute show is going to be closer to 20 minutes. An hour show is going to be 40, 45 minutes. Now, when you have Netflix shows, it's like you don't have a standard time for an episode if it's made for streaming. So it could be 50 minutes, it could be an hour and 10 minutes, it could be like all these things, and you're just like, I just watched a shorter 38-minute, and the next one is in almost an hour and 2 minutes. You're like, crap, like I had time for a 30-minute one. Yeah.
Well, the one thing we do got this with this particular these particular series here of Agito and Kabuto is these are only going to be available on YouTube for a limited time. So for about 4 weeks, each one
Okay.
it looks like these episodes are going to be available. So, which is kind of an interesting thing, which is really something I would have thought that would have been a driving factor with streaming. Yes, the
Oh.
fact that this stuff's always available is certainly an idea,
Mhm.
but if you put time and you Disney Vault them, it
Well, I wouldn't
which
say Disney Vault them, but I would say you get certain old stuff that's up for a season. Certain, oh, we're gonna bring this back over the Christmas break. You know, it's like what you'll see on Gundam Info when they'll bring back a few Gundam series, but for 2 months you can watch all the episodes and then they're gone, right?
Mhm.
No, go ahead, but I think you're onto something.
I mean, plus you have the ability. Plus these. Let's take the Mandalorian just as sort of one of the big examples, or Stranger Things,
Mhm.
Show X. If you take the Mandalorian, you take those episodes and you put them on Disney Plus for that limited window time, which is really no different than the way it all used to be, where you would have these limited windows where things have a set value, a perceived value to them.
Mhm.
That exclusivity has value to it. For 2 months, for 2 months, once the series is done airing, we'll keep
Yep.
it on our service exclusively.
Mhm.
Then once the buzz has started to wane and kind of fall off, then we'll open it up to be able to be licensed out to other services.
Yeah.
That way, at the end of the day, there's your money, even if you're not hosting it on your own service.
Right.
Someone's going to pay you a flat fee up front,
Right.
which is it ideal? No, but at the end of the day, as much as I liked, say, Kamen Rider Geats, I can't
Yeah.
tell you the last time I sat down and watched an episode of that particular series, and it's my favorite of the Kamen Riders.
Well, there's also so much to watch, and so many things are now becoming available that it's good to have the stuff, but sometimes it's like I want to watch something new because it's new to me and it might be 5 or 10 years old, but it's finally available. And I've been waiting how long to be able to actually see it and access it. Right. And that goes to kind of, the whole thing about all the piracy sites and things getting shut down, and they're really being protective of certain IPs, and which I understand. However, there is something to be said about distribution of, like, if somebody has the rights and legally has the rights and isn't willing to distribute it in other parts of the country, or so many people don't have access that would really willing to pay if they would just have access to it. It's like, okay, well, you don't want us to pirate it, which legally, for all intents and concerns there, but it's like,
It worked for a second.
yeah, I'm looking at it. It's just buffering.
All right. Yep. Yep. I will do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Burn this.
I'm sorry?
This must never be seen by anyone.
We can.
All cop